Om Namah Pranavartaya Suddha-Jnanaika-Murtaye Nirmalaya Prasantaya Dakshina-Murtaye Namaha. Marunagiri-Mupedam Sachidananda-Murtim Ramanayati Pratibhyam Vishrutam Jnana-Suryam Gahana-Hridaya-Vidyam Leelaya-Bodhayantam Satatam-Ahameyam Sadgurum Samsmarami. This particular verse that I recited just now on Bhagavan was composed by one Sishta Subharao. Here he says, Gahana Hridaya Vidyam Leelaya Bodhayantam, about Bhagavan. He says this profound philosophy, Gahana Hridaya Vidya Leelaya Bodhayantam, he taught to everybody in a playful manner. So that is the importance of this verse. It's a beautiful verse. Playful because, he would always point to everybody. What you are saying is not very important. Things that are important is just inside. Always turn the attention back to oneself. Morning we stopped at a place where Ishvara says, if desires are there in the mind, they will obstruct your jnana. So get rid of all the desires. Muruganar has composed a poem which is there in Guru Vachaka Kovai. I'll just read it. He says, Asa Pasa Kattara Aruttor Kalladu. Asa Pasa Kattu means the just bundle of desires. This has to be broken, completely broken. If this is not broken, the appearances of the world will keep coming to you. Masarum totram madiyade. It will not die down. These appearances will keep on coming. The world appearances will keep on coming. So indirectly it is saying that the world appearance is not just the outside thing that you see. It is what is inside you that is coming out. Though we may say that, everybody is seeing the same thing. No, people are not saying the same thing. You may see the world in one way, somebody else will see it in some other way. It all depends upon his mood. What you see is a very joyful thing would be seen by somebody as not suitable for this assembly. Like that we see. So that is why it is said that this world, creation of the world, is a joint protection. Ishvara has made a basic framework, and onto that framework we are adding something more, and that we call as our world. Anyway, he says here, even to have a desire for moksham, he says here in his beautiful Tamil, Desarum Pesu Upasanta Perinpa Tasai Moksha Anandam. Even the desire for moksha anandam, even that has to be left behind. Kusad aruttal kuri. Kusad, without any hesitation, even this desire for moksha should go out of your mind. It seems one lady approached Bhagavan and told him, Bhagavan, I do not want anything except moksha. It seems Bhagavan laughed. He said, you should stop with the first sentence. I don't want anything. Full stop. Except moksha, you are adding some desire there. Even that is not required. That has to go. Tirumular, in one of the Tirumandiram, he says, Asai Arumingal, Ishanodayinam, Asai Arumingal. Even if it is for a desire for Ishvara, that also has to go out. It has to become completely blank, without any desire. That itself is moksha, says Bhagavan. So we will go to the next verse, today's verse. Mohika, Murchika, Maya, Swapnascheti Chaturvidham. It is a quote. Swapnascheti Chaturvidham Sushuptihi Jagratischaiva Sarvametat Parityajet. Parityajet, you have to give up. Bhagavan has translated this Mohikai, Mayaye, Murchikai. Soppanam ஆகிய இந்த 4 அவஸ்தைகளும் ஏக சுஷுப்தியோடு ஜாகிரம் சொல்லும் இவை எல்லாம் ஒழித்து விட வேண்டும் உணர். is getting a little technical. Please forgive me. I think the coffee will keep us integrated, I suppose.
Great coffee.
Yeah. Mohika, Murchika, Maya. He is mentioning about all the various moods of the mind. We all think that mind is a very definitive thing. It starts here and ends here. And Atma or self is something and it ends here and mind starts from there. All that is not there. Everything is an overlapping. You should really realize that mind is a concept. It's a useful concept for explaining a lot of things. Bhagavan says it's just a bundle of thoughts. So the moods of the mind are what are discussed here. He says mohikai, infatuation. Mind, even in the Jagrat state, even in the wakeful state, it gets into some moods like infatuation for an object. Maya, delusion, not knowing the real thing about that object, but you are still infatuated with it. We know, ever so many examples are there. This is Maya. Murchikai is swooning. Murcha, we say, swooning. That is when you do not get the desired object, then your mind goes into a desperate mood and almost blanks out. These are all only in the Jagrat state. These are the various moods that are going on in the Jagrat state. Added to that, he says, Ishvara says, Swapna, our dream state, Sushupti, the deep sleep state, and Jagrati, the wakeful state, the full wakeful state. All these things have to be given up, he says. Then what will remain? Everything is given up. What would remain? See, the interesting thing about Advaitam, unlike any other religion, Advaitam does not require for you to have any faith on anything. Like, this God, and this God has these characteristics, and only this God will work for you. Your faith is important in all the other parts, whereas the interesting thing about Vedanta is it depends only upon your own experiences. It points to you. What are you? How are you? We discount many of our own experiences, and that is why we continue to be in illusion, in ignorance. We discount. We do not even bother to give any value to those experiences. We take this wakeful state as the standard of reference. Whereas we go through so many other states, like all these things that are described, dream is a very useful clue that is going to give it to you. Because once the dream is over, once you wake up, you are saying that all that is unreal. What made you say that they are unreal? What made you say that they are unreal? You say they are unreal because it happened within you. Nobody else shared that experience. So you tend to say that this is unreal. So we discount Swapnam. But Swapnam tells you, the dream state tells you, that whatever the mind creates, it will believe in that. If the mind creates something, it will believe in that. It is not going to dispute that at all. As long as the dream lasts, you are not going to question that. Only when you wake up, you are going to question that. Now, wakeful state, in what way is it different from Swapna, says Bhagavan? It is the same thing. Except that in the dream state, the Indriyas are not functioning, the senses are not functioning. This added senses in the wakeful state, because the senses are getting so much of information, you are hearing, you are seeing, so many things, they are all connected together to present it to you. Because of this augmentation, we believe this is more real and this is the only real thing. How can we really say that the wakeful state is not real? But as far as Bhagavan is concerned, wakeful state or dream state are mind created states, and so they cannot be real. You are dependent upon the mind. When the mind is absent, where do they go? So it cannot be real. The standard of reality is it should be real all the time, everywhere. If such a thing is not fulfilled, if this condition is not fulfilled, then it cannot be called as real. So based upon all these things, Advaita Vedanta points to you your own experiences, and that tells you this is the clue that you will get from these experiences. Sushupti state, there is no body, there is no world, there is no object to catch on. But we say that it is a state of, darkness, ignorance. Bhagavan says actually sleep is a perfect state because there is no object rising for you to catch hold of. Yes, there is a dosha. That dosha means you are not aware of yourself during the time. That is there. But apart from that, it is very close to the self because there is an ek chinmayatvam there. There is a eka chit. Consciousness is one. It is not split into subject and object. We split consciousness into subject consciousness and object consciousness, both in dream as well as in the wakeful state. The splitting takes place, and the splitting is caused by Maya, the mind, which is working as Maya. Splitting takes place, so we believe this one has become many, and we believe each independent stuff is independently real, and I am independently real, and I am separate from all of them. All these things are not there for a jnani. For him there is no other at all, and that is the reason why he says, when the mind is functioning, the world will come on. For the jnani, the mind does not function, and he sees the same consciousness everywhere. It is not even distributed. Bhagavan says that even to say that consciousness is equally distributed everywhere is also not correct. There is only one consciousness. Don't fragment that consciousness. There is only one thing that is existing, and that is explaining. So finally, looking at all these, states, avasthas, finally they tell you that reality has to be different from all these avasthas. There is one reality that is linking all these states, and there is one reality starting from your birth to the death and even beyond. There is one consciousness like a string in a necklace. It goes through, and that consciousness is called as Turiyam, because they want to differentiate this from the other three. But Bhagavan says, even to call this as the fourth state is not correct. There is only one state. Other three states are unreal, and so we are saying that this fourth state, but then other three things are unreal. Why do you say this is the fourth state, as though you are giving reality to the other three states? A boy wanted laddus from his mother, and then he pestered his mother, and finally she said, okay, I will make the laddus for you, but not in the night time. In the morning you can have the laddus. The boy went happy. He said, I want 3 laddus. He goes to sleep, and in the sleep he actually has a dream of him eating laddus, and he feels that his mother had given him 2 laddus. The next day morning he wakes up in an excited manner, goes to his mother, and then tells him, Amma, yesterday I had a dream, you gave me 2 laddus. Oh, is that so? So she said, no, take this other laddu, 2 already over in the dream, you take the 3rd laddu. Will you accept that? Even a boy will not accept that. Bhagavan uses the same logic. He says, with the other 2 are unreal, other 3 are unreal, how can you call the 4th one as the 4th one? 4th one is the only thing, he says. And this is the Adhara Satyam. All other things are strung on that. They appear and disappear. Here he says, in this verse, Ishvara says, Mohika, infatuation. All these 3 things, Mochika, Maya, these 3 things are part of the waking state only, but different, moods of the waking state. The reason why he is specifically mentioning about all these things is that only in the waking state it is possible to do sadhana. It is not possible to do sadhana in the dream state or in the deep sleep state. There is something available to you in the waking state. There is a willpower that you can exercise. You can say that, no, this is not good for me, I will do this. All this is possible in the waking state. So sadhana is possible only in the waking state. Though it is an unreal state, it has got this merit that it will allow you to do sadhana and then reach the final state. So these 3 states are mentioned because all these things are not going to be useful for you. The useful thing that is available to you at the wakeful state and you are going to spoil it by things like infatuation, obsessing with a particular object. If the mind gets into the obsessive mode, then it will not be able to really concentrate on anything at all. Maya, delusion, you don't know what you are really after, you do not know the real nature, you have no idea about that, but still you want it. This is another thing. And then this Maya, and then this Swapnam, Sushupti, Jagrat, all these states are states of unreality. That's what he is trying to say. They are all appearances passing on in these things. Don't hang on to them. They will not take you anywhere. So, in this, there is a very similar thing that is there in Bhagavad Gita. I will mention that. He says in Bhagavad Gita, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. Many of you may know this verse, is a beautiful verse. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Upajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Sammohat Smriti Vibhramaha Smriti Bhramshat Buddhinasha Buddhinasha Pranashyati. How a man can fall down? Starts with obsessing about something. Dhyayato, keeps on thinking about something. Moment you keep on repeating something in your mind, automatically there is a sangam, there is an attachment to that strength. Sangat sanjayate kamaha, it intensifies into a desire. Kamat krodho vijayate. When what you desire, there are obstacles to that desire, you become very angry. And you become angry with whatever the source from where the obstacles are coming. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. The mind becomes deluded at that point in time because you become very desperate, you do not know anything at all. Sammohat smriti vibhramaha. You lose your bearings. Smriti vibhramaha. You lose your bearing. You may be a very great person, but because of this attachment, you would have fallen so badly because you have completely lost your bearings and you are going to do something which is going to be absolutely unexpected of you. Smriti Bhramshat Buddhinasha. The reasoning capacity deserts you at that point in time. Then what happens is the man brings ruin onto himself. He is ruined completely. Great upbringing, great family, great wealth, all these things do not matter because of the starting point of obsessing about something. This is what, in a beautiful manner, Lord Krishna says, this is the way it is. And this is what has to be avoided, he says. So you completely give up all these states and become the pure state. That state is known as Jagrat Sushupti. It is the full vigor and full awareness of Jagrat, this state, wakeful state. There is full awareness here, but they are all fragmented. This is fragmented into all the objects that you are going to see. So even though the awareness is available, they all become object-oriented consciousness. You keep on attaching one and the other keep on, so you become distracted completely. The awareness which has got to be ingathered, it has to be accumulated. Instead of accumulating, you are going to completely spread them around. And you do not have any advantage of having this consciousness. So, couple it with the stillness of sleep. The stillness that you get, mind is not active at all. The stillness of the sleep combined with the full awareness of the wakeful state, if you combine them, you get the state known as Jagrat Sushupti. In fact, some people say that it is Ati Sushupti, Ati Jagrat. So many names are given in this. In Tamil it is called as Ari Tuyil. This is sleep, but with knowledge. So many methods of expressing the same thing, and that is the only state. And we have to work towards this Jagrat Sushupti. And what Bhagavan says is, the only way that happens is for the mind to completely turn inwards and then catch hold of the conscious part of itself. Manam tan uli uru orvade undi para, ordale undi para, unmai unarchiya undi para, he says. Atmanas chittva darshanam tattva darshanam in Sanskrit. So you have to catch hold of the awareness that is available in the mind and then expand upon it and then see that the mental activities are brought down. The mind gets arrested when it looks at itself. When it looks at other things, it will keep on moving from one and the other. But it gets arrested when it looks at itself. That's why Bhagavan says, see what your mind is. What is the nature of your mind? Go to the source of the mind. All these things are meant to say, catch hold of the conscious aspect of the mind. Work on it. Constantly work on it. Not going to happen overnight, but constantly work on it. And you have to remember to withdraw attention from things. The moment you sit for meditation or Atma Vicharam in the morning, 1 minute will be okay, the next minute, start hand. Something or the other would be there, something to catch. Today's politics or the games that are going on. Whatever. Whatever you are interested in, we will watch. If we watch ourselves, we will know that our mind goes to those things where our interest is there. Or some worry is there, anxiety is there. Mind will automatically flow there. Only by practice, mind can be brought back and then kept on the conscious part. The conscious part is aham. And the actual worldly vyavaharam is aham and idam together. Idam means this, I and this, I and this. We gyrate with this I and this all the time. It's a big dance that they go on making. This keep on changing, but the I remains the same. The trick is to catch hold of the legs of the I and then keep it in one place so that it does not run after this. Atma Vicharam is only this. Breaking this hold, breaking this composite mixture, and when this mixture is broken up, both I and this, both of them fall. When you say I patat aham, the aham that falls down takes down the idam also with it. And it leaves in its place the purnatvam, the purna chit. That would remain when both aham and idam fall down. So Ishvara says, sushuptihi jagratischaiva sarvametat parityajet. All these things will have to go before good things can start happening. Even when you get into that state of samadhi, even in that state of jagrat sushupti, the force of your vasanas, the accumulated tendencies will throw you out of that. Briefly you may enjoy. They will throw you out. The intensity of the vasanas is so much, they will pull you out. That is why they say, with the vasanas together, they are the dark cloud that is covering up the self. They are the dark cloud. Even if you are successful in stilling the mind for some time, you are cheated immediately because vasanas will take you out. We have to penetrate. A jnani would have penetrated through these vasanas, what is called as the anandamaya kosham, the darkness kosham, that ignorant kosham that is there, he would have penetrated through that. That is known as the causal body. Because it causes everything to appear. From that only the vasanas emerge and they make everything to appear. That is called as the causal body. So even more than the subtle body, which is the mind and the buddhi and the prana, causal body is much more important. A jnani, first thing that he completely destroys is the causal body. That is why for him thoughts do not arise at all. Bhagavan, I believe, told somebody, you are saying that it is so difficult for you to, stop a thought or control a thought. For me, it is very difficult to bring up a thought. Can you imagine? Cannot be. It's very difficult for me to rise up a thought, bring up a thought. Because this veil has completely got torn off. Looking at it the other way, Vedanta says, Maya operates in two modes. It projects the unreal and hides the real. This projection is known as Vikshiptam, Vikshepam. Vikshepam is projection and Avaranam is the hiding or the veiling. In the waking state, both Avaranam and Vikshepam are operating. In the waking state, the real is hidden, the unreal is having its play, and we are losing our mind. In this unreal play, there is being projected. It's Vikshepam and Avaranam, anyway, the self is completely hidden. We do not know that. In deep sleep state, Vikshepam is not there, but Avaranam continues. Both these things will have to go in order to reach the Turiya state. So, Bhagavan told somebody one day that actually you are thinking there are three states, but actually there is only one state, and that state is Nidra. All of you are asleep all the time. This sleep is called as Swarupa Vismriti Nidra. Swarupa Vismriti is forgetfulness. Forgetting your real self, in that Nidra, all of you are all the time there. You are all sleeping all the time. And when there is a Swapnam, it can be either dream or wakeful state. Both of them are Swapnam only. When there is no Swapnam, then you call it a sleep. But fundamental to both these things is this Swarupa Vismriti Nidra. This layer of self-forgetfulness. And in order to get that forgetfulness dissipated, is all this sadhana. We forget our real self. It is there all the time, shining all the time. It breaks through all these barriers and still shines as I. Notice that and take that as the clue and go back, trace it back. You will be able to get it. Tirumbi ahandanai dinam ahakkan kan. Tirumbi, turn backwards, inwards. Ahamdanai dinam ahakkan kan. Keep on looking at this. Tiriyum yendranai yen Arunachala. He says, Arunachala, you told me, you will know. Tiriyum. Eventually you will know. Try to do only this alone. The first step is turning the mind inwards, and the second step is see that it does not move out of the place. So, in this particular verse, Ishvara is saying that give up all these states, they are all states of the mind, they are not the states of the self. Self never undergoes any of these changes. It is remaining as it is, and this big play is played out, and you are going through all this dream, wakeful, all these things are there just to deceive you. The next shloka, Dehat Sukshmagatat Pranat Chittat Buddhehe Ahankritehe Sarvam Sarvasmat Bhinna Evayam Chintayan Labhate Chitim. He says consciousness. This consciousness is not associated with the body, this gross body. Deham. Pranat Pranamaya Kosham. It is not associated with the Pranamaya Kosham. This Purna Chit sees the Prana. It sees suddenly the breathing is increasing, decreasing. You are able to witness that. So it cannot be that. You are able to witness the changes in the body. So it cannot be that. They are body and this is me. You go in the same way, one after the other, eliminate all the layers that you have put around yourself till the last one. Chittat buddhehe ahankritehe sarvasmat bhinna evayam chintayan labhate chitim. This is one way of finally getting into the chit, getting into consciousness. This is one way of doing it. You are not this, you are not this, you are not this. Who am I then? Keep thinking about it. You will be able to get it. It is a field. It is a field where you are going to grow the results, the phalam of your karma. Something or other is going to happen within this kshetram. That is why he calls it as a field. In this field, there is a knower of the field, kshetrajna. The knower is not the same as the field. Field is different. And the field is everything. All these koshas are the field. Because you have a play. Your mind plays something, the buddhi says something else, and all these things. They are all going on. They are all the field. But you know these things, changes in the buddhi. You know that yesterday you are very dull, but today you are okay, you are alert. You are able to see all these changes in the buddhi. You are able to see the changes in the moods of the mind. And as I said, all other things also. Everything is changing. But I am not changing. I am the witness of all these things. I am different from all these things. So I am the actual Chaitanya. I am the total consciousness. Different. Bhinnam. Uses the word bhinnam. Dekam idil sukshmamacherum uyir chitta buddhi ahum ahankaram ivai yavukum ekachit anniyame endru chindayatrave achittai manniduvan endru madi. The same thing, very accurate translation. You have to keep on doing this exercise that I am not connected with any of these things. All these things are seen by me. I am the seer. If this kind of a technique can be developed, you will be in a position to reach that consciousness in a very fast manner. Bhagavan says, Sukshmagatat. He is trying to address that. Sukshmagatam. Something has crept inside. The consciousness is different. All these things are different. These are all achaitanyam, anatma-vastu. They are all material. Even though you call mind as something very sukshma, it is also material. All these things are matter. But there is chaitanya which is not matter. What is matter? Matter is something that will not say I, cannot say I. Deham cannot say I. Something else has to be there inside to say I. Is it not? Otherwise, when there is a dead body, it is full, intact. Nothing has happened to it. You are able to see that. But they say that our pointer is gone. Something has gone out and is gone. Body, if it is where to say I, it will refuse to be taken to a funeral ground. So body does not say I. Similarly, mind, buddhi, all these things are all animated by this consciousness. They cannot say I. But you are able to say I. This consciousness which can say I and matter which cannot say anything at all, how does it really start feeling that I am so and so? What happens to it? How has this miraculous, this magic has happened? A lifeless thing is jumping up and down, saying that I have done this, I have achieved this, I have so much more to achieve, I will be able to do all these things. Who does that? That's why he is addressing that, Sukshmagatat. Bhagavan in Ulladhanarpad. He says, Jada Udal Nan Yennadu. This inert body, insentient body cannot say I. Satchit Udiyadu. This Purna Vastu has no coming and going. It does not rise up. Whereas the ego rises up. When the sleep state ends, somebody wakes up, somebody rises up, and then he remembers, today I have to do so many things, and he starts doing so many. So in between this chit, Purna chit, and this matter, which is classified by this deham, buddhi, all these things, in between these, there is a very, very ghostly figure is appearing there. It catches hold of you and makes you jump up and down. It's just like a ghost. It has to have an adharam. We see a ghost on a post. When there is no post, we will not see a ghost there. It has to have an adharam. So, this catches hold of this, and this is the most mysterious thing. Udal alavam nan ondru udikkum. Something calls itself as I, it rises up. Idayil, in between. Chit jada granthi, this is the most mysterious knot between two things that are totally incompatible. Consciousness on the one hand and jada vastu on the other hand, totally incompatible. So there is a marriage of incompatible partners taking place here. This is called as Chit Jada Granthi, says Bhagavan. It is called Bandham. It is Jiva. Jiva is only this. Nutpamai is subtle body. We call it by so many names, but they are all ultimately this ghost-like appearance that has come there. How did it come? This is a question. How did it come? How the full consciousness that I am, how did I become this body and claiming this to be my body? Bhagavan says, don't ask that question. How is not the question to be asked? You will not get anywhere. How is a question to be avoided? All kinds of answers will be given by all kinds of philosophies and religions. How did this happen? How did this creation come about? The right question to ask is, to whom has this appeared? Not why, not how, but to whom? That is the right question to ask. Who is seeing all these things? You go after that, trace that back to its source. That is the way to realize the self. So, it's samsaram. Samsaram itself is this. This manam, this mind, everything, all the unreal stuff, you can put them all together and give it a name. It is this ego. This ego has arisen. The only way to tackle the ego is to go to its source. Therefrom is it arising. Anything else would completely befool you. You will get bewildered. You will not be able to go anywhere. Because who is raising the question? The same Maya Vastu is raising the question. How does it come about? And so many other explanations. Again, the mind which is Maya will catch hold of them and try to analyze all these things. Don't give any credence to any question raised by the mind. Look at the mind and go to the source of the mind. That is the only way. No other way. He says here, Sarvasmat Abhinna Evayam. This is totally different from everything else. It is an Eka Vastu, self-standing. You can pick it up because it keeps on announcing itself, I am, I am, I am. You can pick it up. Though it is diffused through many layers, you can still pick it up. It is there, announcing itself. Go after it. Put your entire concentration on that. You will be able to solve the problem. No other method will be effective as this method, says Bhagavan. And this is the same thing. So this is the Panchakosha Prakaranam. People talk about Panchakosha, that is being talked about here. The Atman is totally different from all these layers. It is getting reflected in these layers, but it is not the original one. You want the original one, you need to go back. The next verse, in a similar way, I said, this group of verses are a bit technical. That is euphemism for boring. Sada abhibhuyate chittam. Abhibhuyate keeps on weakening. Alertness keeps on going. Chittam, this mind, keeps on losing its alertness. By what? Nidraya smaranadina. By your desire to go to that state of nidra, forget everything. It's good. You will enjoy, refresh yourself and so on. But then you are not really going to get into that state of realization by being in the nidra. Smaranadina, the other one is constant thinking. Thinking and thinking and thinking, mind gets more and more weak and it is not alert enough to catch You have to keep it alert. You have to be very, very alert. When we sit quiet for some time, we go to sleep. You know? The mind, when you try to control the mind, all of us. I'm not any different. All of us. When we see that we should reduce the thoughts and make it nil, what we find ourselves in? The state of sleep. Mind knows only that. When the mind is not active, it thinks that it has to be in the state of sleep. So constantly, the mind loses its capability. This is when we should remember Bhagavan's state. Bhagavan was sitting throughout the day, barring for some few occasions, sitting throughout the day, not moving his body or any other limbs, not even moving his eyelids. The eyelids would be open all the time, staring into the vacant space, no movement at all. But still he was the most alert in the meditation hall. He was more alert than the most wakeful person in the meditation hall. Kunju Swami says, I have never seen Bhagavan yawn. We yawn. Yawning is a state of dullness. You want to go to sleep. Mind is becoming dull. Alertness is lost. Bhagavan never once yawned that I could see, says Kunju Swami. I never seen Bhagavan scratching his body. Even the scratching of the body, the body consciousness is so much absent in him, but he was alert. Mahayogi, this is the definition of Mahayogi, stillness personified, alertness personified. In Ashtottaram, Mahayogi, Vishwanath Swami says, immediately he says, Mahotsaha. Where is a Mahayogi who is totally withdrawn from everything and is sitting just in one place, staring into the vacuum? How is he Mahotsaha? I believe he is the most enthusiastic. Anyway, you have to remember this state once in a way, to at least remember how far we are away from that state. Sada abhibhuyate chittam nidraya smaranadina bodhayitva prayatnena kuryat swastam punah punah. Sanskrit is very simple. Nidriyanalum Ninayvadiyalum Nidam Chittam Dam Moodam Nihat Sirariyum. Yes. It keeps on weakening. Sirariyum. We use this word for somebody who is, in the path of ruin. Siranji Bona, we say. Somebody who is ruining himself. Mind is ruining itself by the constant movement. Yattanattinale unarti. You have to make effort to make it arise, make it alert. Unarti. You have got to wake it up. Every time there is a Vedanta class like this, you should remember to wake up the mind every now and then. Bodhayitva prayatnena kuryat swastam punah punah. Swastam. It has to be put in its actual place. The mind has to be in the actual place, and that place is the Hridayasthana, the Purna consciousness, Purna Chit. Hritstale manaha swasthata kriya. Same word Bhagavan uses in Upadesas. Hritstale, in the Hridayasthanam, keep the mind again and again. Punah punah. You should not lose confidence. We start doing Atma Vicharam for 2 days and then says it's not for me. People do it for 40 years and 50 years like me, and I still don't get it. We have to have the patience and also impatient. The right mixture of impatient. Yeah, I have to get it. Why am I not getting it? That impatience should be there, and also this patience. Wait for a few lifetimes. Once you wake up, few lifetimes. But once you wake up, all these lifetimes, where do they disappear? They have gone somewhere. When we wake up from dream, in the dream we would have seen so many lifetimes. In the course of 8 hours of our Swapna Nidra, so many things we would have seen. And where do they all go? But during the time you are dreaming, you have gone through many lifetimes. In fact, in Yoga Vasittam, there is a story of a Raja who went to sleep. Vasitha tells this to Rama. The Raja goes to sleep. There is a darbar going on. Minister is presenting something, most probably the financial budget or something. So the Raja goes to sleep. And in that brief moment, it was a very brief time, he has a lifetime of experience. Actually, he feels that he is in a different land. He is born as a very lowly, in a lowly caste, an outcast, and so on. And when he wakes up, he finds that all those lifetimes are just those few moments. That's why time and space are unreal. They are concepts of the mind. What is time for you, long time for you, may be a very short time for somebody else. The theory of relativity talks about the same thing. What is very short time can be a long time. So time has got no meaning at all. So even if one does a lifetime and also one more lifetime, wait for it patiently, but don't give up. But it is better to get it in this lifetime. You do not know what we are going to be in the next lifetime. So better to do that. Put the prayatnam, and no effort goes waste, says Buddha. In one place in talks he says, even an effort of a minimal nature, even for a moment, a small moment, will go a long way, he says. In fact, sometimes we find that we struggled so much to get a mental quiescence in the previous days, and suddenly, without any asking, without any expectation, suddenly it dawns on us, we become suddenly very quiet. We have seen all these things. Suddenly one day mind will be very clear, we have to move about. At least for a brief time we will enjoy that. This has happened without your trying, because you tried the earlier times. That yatnam, that prayatnam that you made at that time has resulted in these few moments unexpectedly. And it comes unexpectedly. When you want it, it won't come, because the mind is active by wanting it. When you do not want it, it comes. And it comes because of your previous efforts and not what you are trying to do now. So don't give up any effort, says Ishvara. Bodhayitva, you have to train the mind. What do you tell the mind? There is nothing outside. What are you going to gain outside? Repeatedly we have to train ourselves to think in that manner, says Ishvara. Bodhayitva, you have to train the mind. Teach the mind. Teach the mind there is nothing outside. Everything is only inside. Bodhayitva prayatnena kuryat swastham punah. Bhagavan, in one of the shortest talks, he talks with Ramana Maharshi, he talks about the various states of the mind. He says, just as a matter of information, because Bhagavan has said this is important. He says, mind has got, this wakeful state has got 5 different modes, aspects. One is known as Chipta. Chipta is normal activity. We are not dull. We are not too much into something or the other. Normal activity, routine activity. That is Chiptam. Moodha. That is dullness. You want to go to sleep. Nothing is taking about. We are not able to really understand anything. This moods of dullness is another one. Vikshipta, he says, it is actually, Vikshipta is actually dispersed. It is distracted. so many things, thoughts will keep on appearing before you. The mind becomes distracted. Suddenly, so many activities going on, you do not know whether to do this or to do that. You will forget to do this and worry about that, I have forgotten that, and so on. This is a distracted sense of mind. It is not active, it is not dull, but it is distracted. Kashaya means actually latent. Sometimes we will be burdened with something that we did in the past. It's a latent impression. We regret something. I should have done that. I spoke this very badly. This kind of regretful feelings and all, they will come to the fore and weigh your mind down. This is known as Kashaya, the latent impressions acting upon you. And then finally he says, the only thing that one has to really strive for is Ekagrata, the concentrated mind. All these other things are totally useless, and these are all said because we can actually recognize them and identify them and then know that we are in this mode, snap out of this mode. For that reason all these things are said by Bhagavan. So, and he also says mind is a mixture of knowledge and ignorance. Mind is not pure knowledge, mind is not pure ignorance. It's a mixture of both. And it is also a mixture of sleep and ignorance, sleep and waking for the same reason. So mind is such a complex thing for us to really handle. In so many ways in which you can look at the wakeful mind, the best thing for you would be to go to the source of the mind rather than find out how it is functioning, why it is functioning, all these things. Go to the source of the mind. Who is having this feeling? Who is suffering from this thing? If you can train our mind to ask this question at every stage of our life, during the course of the day, we can constantly turn the mind back into the self and keep it there. Like they say, the needle, the compass that is used by a pilot to see the direction, you should set your compass in such a manner that it is always turning within. Train the mind to do that and catch hold of that consciousness. You will be in a position to break the spell and then break through this darkness of ignorance and get into the final. So with this I will stop for today's thing. Tomorrow morning we will continue. Thank you very much.